Alright, what's going on everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. This season we're descending into the Shadowlands with Daredevil, and joining him are some iconic Daredevil characters that we're seeing for the first time in Snap. Today's spotlight is focused on Karen Page, the former office manager turned journalist and then lawyer who's played a key role in helping Daredevil take down the Kingpin. In Marvel Snap, Karen is a 4 energy card with 5 power that is on reveal. Give one of your 1, 2, and 3 cost characters plus 2 power. She plays a strong support role, buffing up your early game plays to make sure they pack a punch. She works well in decks that want to curve out their cards every turn, making sure to get the maximum use out of all your energy. And she has particularly powerful synergy with this month's Season Pass card, Shadowlands Daredevil, by being able to buff up both him and the demons he creates when she enters play. And if you're thinking of picking up Shadowlands Daredevil, don't forget to use the Snap web store to do so, and get some bonus value with a free Series 5 Collector's Pack, as well as 3 matte red borders. Additionally, you can get even more value out of Karen's effect by finding a way to copy it and spread around even more buffs. My favorite way of doing this has been by pairing her with Silver Surfer First Steps, but other options like Absorbing Man, Wong, and Odin can work too. Today I've got 3 decks focused around Karen Page to share with you. Let's dive into it. First up is a new take on one of Snap's most iconic old school archetypes, Zoo. Zoo is a classic card game archetype that strategy is based around swarming the board with a bunch of cheap cards and then powering them up later on with things like Khazar and Blue Marvel. This was many players' first Marvel Snap deck, including my own, so I'm excited to revisit it with some new additions. Karen is solid here, since Zoo decks typically care a lot about playing 1, 2, and 3 cost cards on curve. Shadowlands Daredevil is great as well, giving us more cheap demons to buff up with their ongoing effects, and letting us run another strong 1-drop in King Eitri to help more consistently draw the demons from our deck. Mockingbird takes advantage of our generation effects like Daredevil's Demons, the 1-cost Shauna spawns, as well as Sam's Shield. You get a lot of power down for a significantly reduced cost. Iron Patriot gives us another solid card generation effect that can keep your opponents guessing on your total power output, especially if you trigger his ability for more cost reduction. And Silver Surfer First Steps helps us get even more value out of Karen and Iron Patriot by copying their effects at the end of turn if you're winning that lane. We've also got some movers with Nightcrawler and Rocket and Groot to reposition our power or to get into hard to access locations. If you like slamming down as many cards as possible to fully fill up the board, this is definitely the deck for you. Next up, we have another deck that's all about curving out with Wiccan. This deck wants to make sure it's always spending all of its energy leading up to turn 4, so that we can make use of Wiccan's effect to gain us 2 permanent bonus energy for the rest of the game. Since this is a very powerful effect that our whole deck is built around, we want to maximize our consistency by making sure we don't miss out on those early plays, which we accomplish by running both Quicksilver and Domino, so that we always have a 1 and 2 cost card to play on the early turns of the game. This also allows us to run way more 3 cost cards than other decks can afford to further improve your odds of spending all of our energy. Karen complements this strategy very well, since you'll almost always be finding your 1, 2, and 3 cost cards on curve, so she gets the maximum amount of point value possible. One thing that's great about Wiccan decks is you can really experiment a lot with 3-drops and other late game threats you include in them. I opted to go with some cards that can move, like Rocket and Groot and Drax for some flexibility, as well as Copycat for a surprise factor. Speed rewards us with points for hitting our cards on curve, and Silver Surfer First Steps is not only great for doubling up on Karen's ability, but also Wiccan's too. Wilson Fisk is another new addition to the deck from this season that rewards us with a lot of power for only 3 energy, as long as we have a high power card in play. And thanks to Domino always showing up right on time, we can consistently play him on turn 3 very often. For our higher cost cards, I went with Cosmic Ghost Rider to provide some interaction against whatever the opponent is doing, and Galactus First Steps, since he's one of the biggest 6-drops in the game. But there's a ton of room for experimenting with different cards in this deck, so don't be afraid to explore alternate options based on whatever you have in your own collection. As long as you have Wiccan, Domino, Quicksilver, and a lot of 3-drops, you have a lot of other options to choose from when making this deck. If you value consistency, flexible deck building, and like having a lot of options going into the final 2 turns of the game, this Wiccan deck is the one for you. And last but certainly not least, as a really big Daredevil fan myself, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to showcase a theme deck that fully embraces its characters. This is certainly not the strongest deck of the bunch, but sometimes you just want to be as thematic as possible while still having a somewhat coherent game plan that can win some games. This deck started out by adding all 4 members of the Defenders, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Daredevil, and then looked for possible synergies that worked well with them, while adding more iconic characters like Karen, Elektra, and Wilson Fisk. Mysterio provides value for Luke Cage, essentially giving us 2 5-power cards for only 2 energy as long as Luke is in play. He also helps keep our Lizard's power from reducing, which opens up being able to play Wilson Fisk on turn 3, and at 6 power, Lizard can give our Shadowlands Daredevil a buff if we top deck him later on. Jessica Jones can be a strong follow-up to our Silver Surfer First Steps if we don't draw Karen, and Spider-Punk is here to help get some Iron Fist value, allowing you to move and steal power from an opponent's cards more than just once per game. We have Cosmic Ghost Rider not only as our main form of tech interaction, but also to act as some Punisher representation to round out the top end of the deck. This might not be the deck to play to fly up the ladder, but if you're just looking to have some thematic fun as a Daredevil fan, I don't think it'll disappoint. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think about Karen, Shadowlands Daredevil, and all the other cool cards coming later this season. And if you've brewed up any of your own decks, I'd love to see them there as well. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.